Good morning, everyone. It's Positive Tuesday. Which can only mean one thing. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald is my guest today, April 28th, 2020. I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching a special episode of DrydenWire Live. Taking to my guest yesterday, Wisconsin's 29th Assembly District candidate Neil Klein. If you missed that, a recording is on our website, DrydenWire.com, and our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search DrydenWire. Tomorrow, Wisconsin's 25th District Senator Janet Bewley will be back as my guest. Janet was just recently selected, as the new Senate Minority Leader. So looking forward to hearing from her tomorrow. But let's get to today's guest. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? I was going to cheer and clap when they announced my name, like we have a big studio audience.
Oh, well, hold on. I just hit applause. You can't hear it on your side, but we just hit applause. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, so we're in front of our live studio audience.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously we're going to be talking about Embrace today. Before we get to that and what we're doing, and we'll touch on that in a minute here, I had a phone call with someone this weekend, and they had to send something to me via email. So I said, yeah, it's just DrydenWire@gmail.com. It's on our website, whatever. And like, what's the website? I'm like, it's just DrydenWire. So they kept mispronouncing, like, was it Bridekin? What? I'm like, no, it's... So I went through what I thought was relatively accurate. I don't know what you guys call it, the cop talk, when it comes to, like, what does D stand for? So I just kind of want to go through that real quick with you. So D, I think I said David. Is David correct?
That is correct.
All right. R, I said River?
It's Robert.
Robert.
Yeah.
Y, the best I could come up with was yellow.
Young.
All
Why
right. D, of course, I guess David.
Yep.
E, I'm 100% sure this is not right. I said elliptical.
Yeah. No, that's it. No.
That's it. What's E?
Edward.
They're
just names.
N, I said Nancy.
It can be. I've heard Nancy before.
But what is
Nora.
it?
Nora.
Is that a common, like just a person's name, like Edward? And
yeah, most of them are names,
All right. W, I said water, but I'm pretty sure that's not right.
William, it can be, any.
What do you mean it can be? I mean, isn't there like an actual, this is what you have to say?
Well, but the Army is different than law enforcement in some points, or military, I should say.
All right. I said indigo.
Yeah, that's Ida.
Ida, is that another name?
I
don't know what Ida is. I thought iota maybe, but I'm not sure what iota means. And then R and then E. All right. Have you ever listened, because you have got cop scanner on in your thing all the time. Have you ever hear like a rookie? I don't know if you guys call them rookies or not, or that's just what police shows on TV call them, rookies.
They're just
new hires.
We don't call them rookies.
Oh. Have you ever heard some of them and they're just bombing it? Like first time, and they're not even close on some of these things. Have you ever heard that?
Well, sure. You're live on the radio and you're trying to think ahead, and you're trying to watch the bad guy or the suspect you stopped, and then you're trying to read, a driver's license and long name, and you're just like, it's W, or you just come up with watermelon.
Watermelon.
You come up with, and you just, whatever pops in your head that starts with W or whatever starts with an R or whatever. And so, it's just, but it's just made to break up the name from E to A and N, and then you say a name and it breaks it up and just makes it easier for our dispatchers to hear.
Sure. So tell everyone that doesn't know already, but they probably do, because we've been kind of promoting it a little bit, what we're doing today.
Well, we are asking everybody to put the word donate in our comments. One, you can ask questions today, but we want you to donate to Embrace, and just tell us you're going to donate. And they have a GoFundMe page set up, and it's on all of our websites. But by just clicking the word donate today in our comment line during the show, we're going to pick a winner. And all we're asking to do is give a minimum of $5. Hopefully, if you can give more, that'd be great, to our Embrace organization, which helps Washburn County, Barron County, Rusk County, and Price County. They're a 4-county entity, so it's not just one of our 2 counties. I'm in Barron, you're in Spooner, and so we have Washburn and Barron, but they also help Rusk and Price counties, and so they help our domestic abuse people. So click the word donate right now in a comment line. We're going to pick a winner at the end of this show, and that winner is going to be our sponsor for next week. You're going to pick a small business that's a sponsor. Hopefully it's a donut shop. Again, I want it to be a
That'd
donut
be nice.
shop.
Yeah, I think we did put in one stipulation.
Yeah,
that
we
could
did.
be
I
a strip
saw that.
club. And so I'd sent that to Embrace, like, what's the kind of basics. And I just put it in an email and as an example, like, we're probably, we'll veto a strip club. Well, they put that in their GoFundMe page, like strip clubs, for example. I'm like, well, I was just saying. I'm like, I don't even know if we have any of those around here, which is probably good. So if my wife is listening, I don't even know if we have any. I literally don't, actually. That and maybe politicians, right? I mean, or like if you're running for an office, we're not going to. Don't pick someone that you're going to donate to their campaign. Just do that on your own.
Right.
All right.
But we want to help small business at the same time of helping our Embrace. We just thought it was a good idea, something fun to do. We talk about Embrace a lot, and again, we're going to talk, I think, a little bit more in detail about what they do here.
Yeah.
I have our paperwork, but domestic abuse is a concern during the COVID crisis, and because more people are home, we're seeing the tension. I understand the tension that people are seeing right now. And so we just want to make sure that their kids are safe. Each person is safe. And it's a struggle. And in talking with the ladies of Embrace, their husband or their abuser might go to work, and now that they're not working or they're working from home, they don't get that break. And so that can cause some more tension, financial tension. All that stuff goes on. And we have an Embrace. They have a 24-hour helpline. They're just a bunch of great gals that we have a shelter. We have places we can put you up in, and I'm part of End Domestic Abuse Barron County, which is a partner with Embrace, and we have some financial help that we can help people with through the Embrace program if we need to. So it's a teamwork. It's a team of networks to help you get through tough times, and that's what the Embrace people and law enforcement are doing together, and we've teamed up with them for almost a year now here in Barron County. They've been part of Washburn County for several years. And so it's just a great thing, but we want you to hit donate, ask your questions in the comment line. We want to raise some money for Embrace, have a little fun, and we'll promote a business. We'll go there this week sometime or stop there and take some pictures, and they'll be our sponsor next week. But this show is about positivity, and we can't really, domestic abuse isn't a real positive topic, but we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think we learned about that when we talk about meth a lot. We said, we can't just talk. Hopefully meth doesn't happen and we'll quit talking about it. We have to talk about the word domestic abuse, and it sucks to talk about, but that's just what we need to do to keep everybody safe in Barron County and in Washburn and in Rusk and everywhere. It's truly a topic that is close to a lot of our hearts.
Yeah.
And so we just can't let this go on, and they need to raise some money, and a lot of these fundraisers for nonprofits are being canceled. So we thought this would be a fun way to help them raise. We're not asking for anybody. If you can give $100, that's great. But if you can give $5, hit the word donate.
Yeah.
You can promote a small business. Maybe you're a business owner and you want to give $100, and we'll come into your business and whatever.
Yeah, well, we've already had Kathy Miller has already said donating. Tammy donated. Lisa Wood donated. Diane,
Awesome.
my mom, put me in for $20. So that's a good start already. And, you were talking about that positivity and obviously the things that they embrace kind of does. And maybe that's not this positive, but you look at the fact of what they do. That's the positive, right?
Right.
So I want to talk a little bit more about, obviously, Embrace. I mean, that's really what we're trying to accomplish here. But I want to ask you, yesterday, maybe it was last night, Polk County put out a press release. We put it up on DrydenWire, an apprehension pursuit and whatnot. Were you involved in that? Is the sheriff's office involved in that in any way in Barron County? Because it seemed like that was kind of close.
Yeah, it was. We were involved in that with Polk County. At one point, the chase was, I don't know where it started. I don't know the details behind of where it started. All I know is we were alerted by the Polk County Sheriff's Department that it was coming towards Barron County, excuse me, on Highway 48. And we sent our deputies and our detectives and myself and my captain went that way so we could try to apprehend it or stop it before it got into the city of Cumberland. It ended up stopping in Polk County, and we continued into Polk County and assisted them in setting up a perimeter for a search. And that subject was apprehended by their Polk County canine. I believe he was apprehended by a bite. I'm not 100% sure on that, but the subject was apprehended and taken into custody, and it's all no officers were injured. I know they damaged a couple of squad cars during the chase or were rammed into or something like that. So, but no injuries that I know of by any officers, or a minor injury maybe to one of their officers. But the good guys win again, and we appreciate. I think the sheriff put out a press release saying thanks for all the tips, where people were calling in tips. Yeah. So we depend on the public a lot for that kind of stuff, and we appreciate those tips and those. I mean, don't follow a bunch of squad cars just to see what's going on. But if you live in that area or you know something, that those tips are very important to us during anything.
Yeah, so and that's another example of everything that you and I have always talked about is that, Barron County, Burnett, Rusk, Sawyer, Washburn, I mean, it's really just one big community. We all have to work together because those lines that separate counties, I mean, it's literally just, like a road or just one line. And you're so close to each other, so it's so important and so vital to all these sheriff's offices working together, which brings us back to Embrace. That it isn't just, one city doing one thing. As you had mentioned earlier, they cover a lot of area, and they work with so many people. As you had mentioned, I know that Dad, when he was the sheriff, they worked a lot with Embrace. Obviously, you work with a lot of Embrace. Rusk, so I don't know much about Price, but Rusk, obviously, Sheriff Wallace there. And I think that is, I don't know if they have plans on expanding or not. Hopefully they do. So tell me, from a sheriff's point of view, with an Embrace in your area, what difference has that made for you? Well, how has that impacted the sheriff's office and the community?
Well, it doesn't. It has a direct effect on the victims. A lot of times in law enforcement, we can't spend time with the victim. We have to move on to the next call, and so we go to a domestic, we make an arrest, we do a report. And we talk to the victim and make sure she's okay. But truly, we need somebody to be there with that victim instantaneously, and that's what Embrace does. They're able to talk to that person right at the scene. We call Embrace right now, and that's something new that we hadn't done here in Barron County. We had a domestic abuse advocate, but only one person, and we have over 450 domestics. It was the only case that go up in Barron County last year was our domestic crimes. And so we can't have that. That's not going to take place in Barron County. And with COVID, it created another layer there. But what it does for the sheriff's department, it puts an advocate right at the scene with us. It might be on the phone, it might be in person, but it lets that person know someone's out there to help them as soon as they leave here. It's not just the cops leave and a domestic abuse person goes to jail, the suspect goes to pay $150 and they're out of jail. We have a 72-hour no contact, which means the victim signs a 72-hour no contact. If I'm the suspect, I can't go back to that residence for 72 hours. So really what it does is tell the victim that they didn't do anything wrong. It says we're here to help. Here's how we help. In law enforcement, we can't always meet with every victim. That's the downside to law enforcement is we always don't get to see the results. We see the court case and that's it. When I was a school liaison officer, you got to see some results. You got to see a person change their life and become better. That's why I enjoy a school liaison position. I think they're so important. This is very important. Similar to that, as our victims get the services they need to either break the cycle of violence, or to say, this is a one-time thing, but we're here to help if need be, or we're going to help you get out of this situation. A lot of people say they don't leave because of financials or because of the kids and because of this and this and this, and they have a team of experts that help victims, and that's why it's the #1 program here in Barron County.
So if you didn't have an Embrace, for example, and maybe other counties have something similar to it, I'm not aware of it, but if you didn't have Embrace, what impact would that have on the sheriff's office?
Well, like I said, we had a good program before Embrace. It's just that this is a more robust program. They do a lot of proactive things in our schools, and that's the struggle when you only have one person doing a job. you can't do everything, and that was the struggle. And a lot of times, while we had that service, this is an instantaneous service that's called the lethality assessment. Speaking today,
words are hard.
Words are. You got to sound them out. If school was open, I'd be doing a lot better. But school's closed. So, and I know them girls are laughing at me right now because I'm sure they're watching. Anyway, we'll move on. But we do this assessment, and we check for. It doesn't mean that through this, which is a national thing, there can be some threats of violence, death. Ultimately, we've had some domestic abuse incidents that have resulted in death here in Barron County, but it's the whole package is what Embrace brings with multiple staff members. And so that's why we chose to go that way here in Barron County, and that's why Ruskin and Washburn have had successful programs. Nice. And so we've seen the success. We wanted to do the same thing, but they do a lot of proactive things, and they're involved. But those obviously cost money, and that's why we're raising a few dollars for them today, and every dollar helps. I mean, every single dollar, whether it's just $5 that you give and you put it on their GoFundMe page, we thank you for that, because if 10 of us give $5, that's just good money. It doesn't have to be one person giving 100. So we appreciate everyone's donation, and we wanted to have a little fun. We've kind of known now to have a little fun on this show.
What?
Yeah, I know. And we want to promote a small business at the same time.
Yeah, again, and that's the other part. Exactly. So anyone that, just to be clear, if anyone didn't know, or if you're just now finding out, anyone that donates, which I think we're up to, I think it's like 10, I think is what I'm counting, at in the end of the show, so in about 20 minutes or so, we'll pick a random person, and then that person gets to pick a business that they would like to spotlight, and that business will be a sponsor for next Tuesday's show with Chris and I. And if it is relatively close, not like I think we talked last week, Chicago, which I still think we should do, then Chris and I will go out there, support that business as well, maybe photo op, something, and then put it on our pages as well. So it's just any way we can to help, one, a nonprofit, and then two, to help potentially a for-profit, because they're small businesses too, and they need help too. So, but please don't pick Menards or Walmart. I mean, you can, that's fine, but I don't know.
There's Ben and Chris getting their groceries today. Whatever.
So Kayla had just asked, should I go to the Embrace Facebook to donate? So on both of our pages, so it's I know I just have it on DrydenWire.com. It's our feature story right now is about today's show. There is a link for Embrace right there. Or you can just go to EmbraceWI.org. Chris?
Not sure. I don't have my sheet.
I think that's their website, but it's all on, it's on DrydenWire.com. You can go there. There's a link to the GoFundMe page, and a lot of other information there. So, I think when it comes to Embrace, it's like everyone has a strong opinion about something. It seems like nowadays, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's hard really to find everyone get behind something, but I just don't know anyone who can't get behind something like Embrace. Right. I mean, I don't care if you're on one side of maybe even a political, aisle or a column. It doesn't matter. It's Embrace. I mean, do you see what they do? So hopefully this is kind of a universal nonprofit that everyone can get behind.
Well, and I think that's what's neat about law enforcement is we don't answer the phone. Are you a Democrat or Republican and talk about our response times to a call? People would frown against that. So we don't do that. But that's why I enjoy law enforcement. I enjoy the job I'm in, because it's about the people. And I think that's what made Embrace unique is that, this can affect any of us at any time, or somebody we know is involved in domestics. I mean, we had over 450 domestic calls in Barron County last year. Again, the only crime to go up was domestics. And it wasn't even, we didn't even have this COVID crisis. And so, while we've seen an increase, not so much in the law enforcement world. Now, we've seen some in the last couple weekends, but the Embrace ladies have told me that they're self-reporting. It doesn't have to go through us, and I think that's the other neat part about Embrace is that you don't have to call law enforcement to get help. You can go right to Embrace, and they don't call us unless you want law enforcement called. So it doesn't have to involve law. Right, and I think that's what a point that a lot of people say, well, I don't want the police involved. Well, Embrace does a lot of cases that we don't learn about. And now, if there's a safety feature involved, they have to get us involved. But the Embrace ladies, the confidentiality is very strict. And if you don't want police called and you just want some guidance or some help, they're here. They don't have to call the police, and they don't call the police. So, and so I think that's what's important. And on their site, on their GoFundMe page, it talks about what the money is going to be used for, and it talks about, $20 helps a victim. You put a tank of gas in their car to be able to travel back to a family member's house where they can live. $100 buys a hotspot for internet so that kids can do school activities when they're at a rental property or they're staying somewhere else. And so, we pay for rent, first month security. We paid for rent so people can get ahead in life. We're really making a good difference in Embrace and the things that they do. So please, I'm asking you just to donate $5, $10 if you can. Just hit the word donate, because we want to make a difference. Yeah. And I think this is kind of fun. We've never done an online fundraiser. I mean, you tried to do this for Jim LeDuc and his team when he was doing that. And, and we just wanted to do something different, and we can't have events, or we can't have a fundraiser outside right now because of COVID, but we're gonna get there this summer, and we'll do some fun things. But this is just a way to raise a few bucks for a nonprofit organization, and we want to support small business at the same time.
Yeah, we have a question here from Kevin. Are more of the domestic calls in town or in the rural area?
It's a good split. I don't know. I would say it's probably. It depends. That's a good breakdown. I don't have that breakdown of our 450 calls. We handled, if you look at the rural setting, we handled probably, I think I don't have our stats up. I think we handled a couple hundred of those. So if you look at it, it's almost a 50-50 split probably from what the sheriff's department handled, which is more rural calls. I mean, sometimes like Cameron, doesn't have 24 hours, so it might be in the village of Cameron after whatever time the Cameron officer goes home. We may have to handle that domestic, so that wouldn't be a rural setting in that situation. We also handle Prairie Farm and Dallas, which are rural settings, but in a village or a city. Turtle Lake is the same way. Sometimes they don't have 24-hour coverage, and so we handle a call early in the morning. So, good question.
When it comes to the domestic violence, those calls that you do get, are I don't know. I'm assuming, obviously I've never been in law enforcement. I don't know how this really works, but I'm assuming there's some calls that are more difficult than others. And I'm sure there's a lot of degrees to that. But in terms of a relatively regular call or something that is just not just a one-off, it rarely ever happens. Are these calls, I don't know, do they impact you more when you see situations like this?
I'm sure they do. I mean, especially when it involves kids in the house. When you see a kid crying because their parents are fighting, it boils your blood a little bit, but you have to understand all the circumstances behind it. And when kids are involved, any kid call, gets our heart pumping a little bit more in a law enforcement world. But they're also very dangerous. I mean, some of these become violent. Obviously, we've had some deaths involving domestic abuse. Before Embrace, we've always had some violent domestics. Usually, almost sad to say, one a year where we have somebody gets killed during a domestic abuse incident. We had a violent one in Chautauqua a few years ago where two people were killed, and then the subject shot himself. I mean, those are, we've had some very violent domestics, which that impacts law enforcement. Any major call where someone's hurt impacts a law enforcement officer, but that's what we keep doing. What we're doing, we appreciate the support of our communities and our businesses. We can't thank them enough for our support that happens during this. But when it really involves a kid, or it's alcohol is a factor.
I was just going to ask what are the contributing factors that you typically see. I was just going to assume alcohol and or drugs, if not both.
Right, it's both. A lot of times it's more alcohol than drugs, but and it's frustrating, and I understand alcohol is a disease, so you have to take that into account. But a lot of times you see this kid crying and somebody's drunk. It's very frustrating but it's how people deal with problems. Otherwise, I'd be out of work. So I wish we could end it so I was out of work, but that's just not how it works, and we have to deal with this on a daily basis.
Well, that's like reason 164 I can't be in law enforcement. Like, I like the idea of getting a cat out of a tree and helping an old lady across the street, or maybe that's Boy Scouts. I don't know, but whatever. I like that. But, you got to deal, on a daily basis. There are some moments, I think, of joy and moments of I don't know, really positive things. But, man, that's a lot of negative all the time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know how you do it. The girls at Embrace and everyone that works for Embrace, holy cow, it takes a special person to do that kind of a job, man. It just does.
But when you can help somebody move out of a situation, and move into their own place and then succeed, and they don't just put you in a apartment and say thanks, see ya. They follow up and they keep in contact with you, and I'm sure we should probably bring them on instead of me talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Embrace. We'll have you guys on. We'll wait till the fundraiser's finished. Actually, I'll see if Mom, for her Diane's Kitchen, if she wants to have them on, maybe for next Thursday, or I can have them on the following week. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they should probably really talk about what they really do and how it impacts them, because, but they come to our police chief meetings, they work with our law enforcement, they've trained all of us in these assessments. We really bought into it. Every police chief in Barron County bought into this. It was something we talked about before we brought in Embrace. DHS Director Stacy Frolick from Human Services here in Barron County suggested this. We bought into it from a chief standpoint. We wanted something better for our victims out there. It's tough. Law enforcement's changing from just running and gunning to more victim-centered focus. We're not softer on crime, we're smarter on crime. And that's been our motto here for a few years. We're trying to work with the meth problem. We're trying to work with our domestic problem, our alcohol problem. We've just got to be a little smarter on it. But that means still people go to jail. Our jail's still open. A lot of this through COVID. Somebody's like, I can just speed all day because there's no cops out there stopping cars. No, wrong. We're stopping cars for speeding. Yeah. It was a fairly busy weekend with a lot of fires. So if we talk about what happened this weekend, there was a lot of fires. So if you're burning, there's some burning bans in place.
Yeah, I thought there were burning bans now.
Well, everybody says, I'm just going to burn this little pile of leaves or this box of garbage or this box, or, I just want to have a campfire and the wind picks up. Those affect our fire departments, and a lot of our rural fire departments are volunteers, and they, we depend on our volunteer fire departments in the area to handle these calls. So they're trying to enjoy their nice Saturday and rake in their yard. But when their pager goes off, they jump in the truck and they go fight this grass fire because you were burning illegally. So there's some frustration there. But we have great volunteer fire departments in our area, in all of our counties. We depend on our volunteer fire departments. So just call ahead, make sure there's not a burn ban on. Make sure you don't burn when it's windy. All those things go into play. So you just I know you want this big pile of brush burnt away and gone out of your yard, but you have to play by the rules and be careful, because we don't want something starting on fire and these guys wrecking their Saturday afternoon. So it's going to be a nice weekend for opening fishing. As we look ahead to the weekend, and weather looks great again.
Yep.
But there's still some businesses that are closed. The governor did have a new dial back or dial forward or whatever he called it, plan to open up a few more businesses. I get it. Turn the dial is what he called it. I get it. There's still some businesses closed. We're still working on that. We're trying to get Barron County, Washburn, Polk, whatever, Russ County open back up. We're doing what we can. Our public health directors in those counties are working together. But you know what? We have to follow the governor's order at this time. There's a Supreme Court ruling. We've been talking about that all week. When that comes out, we'll have better direction. We'll either change direction or we'll keep going the same direction. So I don't know the answer to that. The Supreme Court will make that ruling hopefully this week.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. And, you had said that some of these businesses are now able to open up. There's other businesses that are open that, may not fall into that category. We'll gloss over this part.
Well, and we talked a lot about that yesterday in a meeting we were in, and there is a lot of places that are open, and there's a lot of places that can open now for some drive-up services. Not exactly what they wanted, but it does get more people in the door. Some furniture stores, etc. Now you can get your dog groomed. I understand we still can't get our haircuts and go to the bar. And there's some different things there, but we're working towards that. But our public health people are the ones that are working on that, and they're getting all these questions. I talk to our public health director daily, and she's under a lot of stress and a lot of questions, and she wants to get her hair cut and go out and eat with her family and do those things too. She's not doing this to just you know what, I feel like I'm just going to shut Barron County down one more day. That's not why they're doing this. They're doing this to make sure we're all safe, and I get the frustration, I get the questions, I get the anger, I get it. You can direct it towards me. I got broad shoulders, I'll be okay.
I've seen some of the comments on the sheriff's office page. Man, you got pretty thick skin, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a big boy. I can handle it. Sometimes it gets to you, just like a domestic would get to you or something. But you know what? We've all got it. We're all in this together, and we'll get through this together. And it sucks right now, and we understand that. But man, there's some good stuff going on out there. There's some great stuff going on, and there's some unique things going on with our teachers. And we're doing a radio show on Thursday with 2 superintendents on the Kosher Radio Network to talk about a lot of these things our teachers are doing. I understand our kids are home. I got 2 kids at home doing schoolwork. I get it, and I understand it, but it's just the teachers are doing what they can. Our businesses are doing what they can. We're supporting our small businesses as much as we can. I think that's really unique in what people are doing out there to support our small businesses. People are supporting law enforcement. Our Rotary Club in Rice Lake bought lunch for all the sheriff's department last week. I mean, they're just little things like that make a big difference, and that's why we've done this. $5 donation. You don't have to give a lot of money to make a difference, and $5 can go a long ways to embrace. So keep giving and donating.
You just said sheriff's department, and I don't know if I've asked you. Maybe I did. I can't remember. A long time ago that there is Burnett County Sheriff's Office, Polk County Sheriff's Office, Sawyer County Sheriff's Office, Russ County Sheriff's Office, Washburn County Sheriff's Office, and then Barron County Sheriff's Department. Why is your department the department?
Yeah, it's really supposed to be office. We've just never changed it.
Okay.
It's an office because you're an elected. You're
right.
an office. I'm not a department of the county. While I work closely with like Jeff French and our county board, I really answer to 44,000 people in Barron County. So I really not a department. We've just never changed it here. It's always been department. Doesn't really matter to me. I still answer to the same people, whether we call myself an office. Right. But it's really the office of the state. We answer to the governor and to the voters of Barron County. We don't answer to the county board per se. I mean, we do. We work close together. I have a great relationship with our county board, our administrator. We sent out a letter last week explaining what Barron County was doing to move forward, and it was signed by everybody in the county. And I think that's how decisions are made in Barron County. We've been through a lot of stuff and a lot of different cases, and so,
yeah. Well, let's tally up here. Boy, I don't even know how many people were donated. I think I lost count after 10. Okay. Are you looking at it? Can you count those?
Can I?
Donated 3.
If I get in here, I think I can. I'm in it. I just can't get to them all for some reason.
Oh, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Karen 5. Jody 6. Jim and D. Leduc 7. That doesn't count as 2, you guys. It was 1 comment, so that's 7, 8, right? 9. Am I counting this correctly? 10, 11. Jeepers. I can't tell.
Well, I have 30 comments. I mean, some are questions, so we could just go off the 30 comments. Maybe is that what you see?
I can't tell. So our program is different. I'm not actually looking at Facebook, so it's really difficult for me to tell. Well, so how do you want to do this? Should we just pick a number, and then you just count down, and then the closest person that donated to that one? I don't know.
Well, sure. You want me to go? There's 31 comments now. Should I just pick a number between 1 and 31?
Yeah.
So I'm not looking at the screen.
Okay.
I pick 12.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was Kayla Marie. And right before that, so that was her comment was, should I just go to Embrace? But she said, I will donate on number 11. So I think that's right?
Okay, sure.
Kayla Marie. So if Kayla, you are listening, I don't know, put in the comments what business you want us to do, or just send a message to DrydenWire on our Facebook page, or we'll send you one after this and kind of figure out the details on that.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And the good thing about this, and Brace says they're over $1,000 here.
Oh, nice. They were at eight. I think this morning was like 800.
Yeah. So I think they're at 1,235
Oh,
actually.
good. Well,
And
gosh,
Brace just
thanks
said,
everyone for doing that.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. I was hoping for a $500. They're going to leave this open all week. Their
Right.
GoFundMe page is going to be open. So even if you don't want to give today, you want to talk to somebody and give tomorrow. We appreciate the donation from Brace. It's just a good thing out there, and we're going to make a difference and support a small business. And there's a lot of good going on. So while it's maybe a little gloomy out today and might rain, it's going to be a great weekend. Opening fishing. And go out there and enjoy the lakes and be safe. Wear your life jacket. Remember, kids don't float. So that's our motto. We use that. So
That's great.
you're right. So we gotta use. So wear your life jackets. Be safe out there. Enjoy the outside. Rake your yard, trim your trees, but be careful of the burning bans. Be careful on the lakes. Wear your life jackets. Have fun. Our four-wheeler trails are going to open on Friday, all in Barron County, so you can go ATV in. Lots of great stuff to do outside with your families. So go enjoy it, have a good time, and I appreciate what everybody donated to Embrace.
Yeah, and Kayla already responded. Northwoods Humane Society.
Oh,
I think that's the one in Spooner, right? Maybe not?
I think so. Oh, good. Our dispatcher, will be happy because she's a big supporter of that, and now I got to go up to hang out with the dogs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know for sure. I think that's actually I don't know. No, because no, that's not North. Because it's the Washburn County Area Humane Society. So I don't know. We'll get to some clarification on that and figure out where that is. But wherever it is, that's fine. We can go play with some dogs. Hayward.
So Hayward. Oh, we're going to Hayward.
I haven't been to Hayward in years. Nice.
Yeah.
We'll call. We'll call. Who's that? Rotec.
Yeah. We'll see if he wants. And there's a fudge shop up there, Tremblay Sweet Shop. So maybe we'll have to get some fudge.
Okay, we're supporting a whole bunch of other businesses now.
We're gonna get some fudge from the Tremblay Sweet Shop.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll get a hold of you later on today, Kayla, and then of course Chris. I'll fill you in, and then we'll. All
right.
We'll get some stuff done. Awesome, man. What are you personally going to be doing this weekend? Anything going on?
Nothing that I know of. Just kind of working on the house, and I have a senior, so we're getting ready for graduation party sometime in this summer.
Yes.
So we'll have a graduation party for my daughter. So we're just getting the house ready and painted the garage and doing some little things around the house and just enjoying the outside and being outside.
I know.
Having some fun.
Do you have any concerns though that right now, with the weather getting nicer, and just the announcement from me is that we're lifting a little bit? When you add that with the nicer weather, do you think you're going to start seeing a lot more people out when maybe they shouldn't be? Not like out driving or keeping the social distance, but I don't know. Do you have any concerns about that this week?
Oh yes, I have some concerns about it this week that people are going to push the envelope as much as they can, and I get it. I understand it. We're going to use common sense when it comes to that. And maybe by Friday we'll have some more changes. This changes on a daily basis. So
yeah, it does.
And maybe the governor's office will make some more changes to it. Every day he does something, but the cases are going to go up, but the number of tests are also going up. So just because we have more positive tests doesn't mean it's a worse problem. It's just we're testing a few. I think we were up to 3,000 or 4,000 tests this weekend per day, which is a number up. So we're getting up there in the number of tests, testing kits. I know we're still short. We don't have a lot here in Barron County. I know we talked about that a little bit, so we need more testing kits. That's something our county administrator is working with the governor's office on. So we're making more tests. We're testing more people, which is a good thing. So we'll continue at it. Everybody just go out and have fun, social distance, wash your hands, all that fun stuff that we've been talking about for the last 45, 50 days here, and we'll get through this together. So I appreciate everybody's help and support on that.
Fitzy, you're awesome as always.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you on here next week. And so special thank you to my guest today, Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. And thank all of you for watching. And thank all of you, Joe, thank you so much for donating and helping Embrace. Very much looking forward to going to Northwoods Humane Society next week or sometime this week. Chris and I will be up there. Look for that on both of our Facebook pages. Tomorrow morning, I will be chatting with Wisconsin Senator Janet Bewley right here at 8:30. So until then, stay safe. Keep your social distance and have a blessed day.